Something is waking up beneath the surface. A new kind of community is forming. For builders,
visionaries, educators,
growers, creators, and change makers. Welcome to Gaia Guild School. This is where ideas become systems, where conversations become collaborations, where purpose becomes impact.
Every Thursday, we gather for night school, a weekly meetup for those ready to connect, build, activate, and help shape what comes next. Hosted by Milan, Ludovico, and Michael Camp.
Gaia Guild School is where regeneration meets technology, culture, education, and real-world action.
From the soil to the stars,
we build the future together.
What happens when we come together for trees?
We create footprints of peace.
Through Footprints of Peace and Together for Trees Kenya, your $100 sponsorship helps plant a fruit tree in Kenya.
That support helps cover the seedling, planting logistics, first-year maintenance, watering, weeding, mulching, care, and a tree replacement plan if needed.
These trees do more than grow.
They help feed communities, green schools, restore the land, and create living proof of regenerative action.
You will also receive proof of planting, so you can see the impact of your giving.
Sponsor a tree, feed the dream, watch the world bloom.
Visit footprintsofpeace.com and make your regenerative footprint today. Celebrating 2 years of impact. CannaBama and honeycomb hydro. Hip, hip, hooray!
Before the brands, before the rush, before the money talk louder than trust, there was a plan, and there were people who listened, yeah. Before hashtags, before the flex, seeds passed hand in hand, not checks. Skunk in the soil, history alive, not a myth, not a trend, it survived. They didn't flip it, didn't erase, didn't put a barcode on its face. They asked one thing, where'd you come from? Let the roots answer, let the truth run. DNA don't lie, it remembers the path. Every grow room, echoing back. From Sam to the hills, from care to code. Preserved in the open, not locked in a vault. Let the plants speak, let the people be heard. Every root got a story, every seed got a word. Let the plants speak, no rewrite, no spin. If you're part of the culture, then your voice belongs in. Let the plants speak, let the people be heard. Every root got a story, every seed got a word. Let the plants speak, no rewrite, no spin. If you're part of the culture, then your voice belongs in. Humble grace didn't chase the crown. They slowed it down when the noise got loud. Ask the growers, ask the land. What does ethics really mean by hand? Not who owns it, but who protects. Who shows respect when the market shifts. Legacy ain't a logo or a name. It's how you carry the torch, how you tend the flame. When ethics missing, people fade. Culture dressed up for a trade. But when ethics present, roots run deep. Farmers protected, promises keep. Let the plants speak, let the people be heard. Every grow, every trial, every quiet word. Let the plants speak, from the past to the now. We don't rush the answers, we listen how. Let the plants speak, let the plants speak. If we don't define what matters today, someone else will write it their way. So pause for a second, scan the code, add your chapter to the road. This ain't about right or wrong, it's about where you stand, where you're from, what you learn, what you've seen, what this plan has really meant. Let the plan speak, let the people be heard. Every answer a root, every truth a sea song. Let the plan speak, this is how we protect, not by owning the story, but by showing respect. And let the plan speak. This is preservation, not promotion. This is listening, not rewriting. be part of the record. HumboldtGrace.org.
It's time for Sweet Home CannaBama, a show that'll answer all your questions, provide accurate information, and dispel the myths of CBD. You can participate and have your specific questions answered by emailing sweethomecannabama.com. And now for all things cannabis in Alabama, here's your host, Jennifer Boozer.
Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Jennifer Boozer Stewart, your host here at Sweet Home CannaBama Radio, right out of FM Talk 106.5 here in Mobile, Alabama. And we are broadcasting live across the Florida Panhandle and the Alabama and Mississippi Gulf Coast tonight. And we are live streaming via YouTube, StreamYard, on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, X, LinkedIn, you name it. If you are watching us live, please like us, share it, comment, subscribe, all the things, whatever the platform requires. Share this message with your friends tonight. We've got a great topic that nobody's talking about, and I'm really excited to get into that. I want to say thank you first to our new sponsor, Healthy Harvest CBD in Mobile, Alabama, and Gardendale, Alabama, outside of Birmingham. They are the only licensed specialty hemp retailer left in South Alabama that we are aware of. We know that some of the smoke shops and vape shops have also gotten licensed, but Healthy Harvest is just like CannaBama. All they sell is hemp products. So if you are looking for a specialty hemp retailer, go see Ocean and his crew at Healthy Harvest CBD in Mobile. And if you're listening from Central Alabama, go see them in Gardendale because they have CBD, THC, pet stuff, topicals, edibles, drinks, vapes, all the things. So tell them that we sent you, and we say thank you to Healthy Harvest and Ocean for sponsoring the show. Normally we get into current events right now, but there's not a whole lot going on. Congress is on recess through August 31st. So we do not know yet if the extension for 4 weeks on the federal hemp ban will be voted on in the House or voted down. So we don't really have anything else major going on that I know of. So I want to go ahead and get into our topic tonight. We want to talk about something that is super common and something that nobody, I think, thinks about. I certainly didn't, except for that it's kind of a problem and I don't know how to fix it. But we're going to talk about oral hygiene when it comes to cannabis. First thing that always comes to mind is that cotton mouth, that dry mouth, things like that are caused by any type of use of THC products, especially, and what effects that has on your oral health and what can be done about it. Our guests tonight are Doctors Clarke and Millender. They are dentist entrepreneurs and oral health innovators working at the intersection of dentistry, cannabis, and overall wellness. As co-founders of Rooted Innovations, they are developing dentist-formulated oral care products designed to address the unique needs of cannabis consumers. They believe in the therapeutic potential of the cannabis plant while recognizing that consumption may also contribute to oral health concerns such as dry mouth, changes in the oral environment, increased caries risk, periodontal issues, and breath concerns. Their work is rooted in a shared clinical observation. As cannabis use becomes more mainstream, conversations around oral health have not kept pace. Through their concept of cannabis hygiene, doctors Clarke and Millender aim to bridge the gap between dentistry and cannabis by combining clinical expertise, product innovation, and judgment-free consumer education to help people proactively manage the potential oral side effects of cannabis use. Welcome to the show, Dr. Kristen Millender and Dr. Dawn Clarke.
Hello.
Hi, welcome, ladies. It's so good to have you both on tonight. Thank you for being with us.
Of course, it's good to be here. Thank you for extending the invitation.
Absolutely. Well, let's just dive in. We want to get to know a little bit about you. Tell us about your work and how the idea of cannabis hygiene came about. You can each take a turn if you like.
Doc, you want to go first?
Sure. So, yes, hello, everybody, to all the listeners out there. I'm Dr. Dawn Clarke. I'm based out of Silver Spring, Maryland. And to start off the conversation, jumping right on in, so Dr. Millender and I, we've been in the cannabis industry since about 2017.
Okay.
And as we began, we started to obviously notice that smoking is one of the most common forms of consuming cannabis. So we started to centralize the idea around cannabis hygiene, wherein that, you know, as a society, most of people in America, your oral hygiene routine consists of brushing, flossing. Some people may water pick. Some people may do a rinse. However, when we talk about our cannabis smokers and smokers in general, we do have to be a little bit more particular as far as our oral care goes. And we'll get a little bit more deeper into kind of some of the science and things behind it.
Right.
Cannabis hygiene is pretty much adding on to that routine to be a little bit more particular, especially when it comes to the side effects. You mentioned cottonmouth from smoking.
Yes. Dr. Millender?
Yeah, Dr. Clarke pretty much summed it up. Hi, I'm Dr. Millender. I am a general dentist based out of Waldorf, Maryland. And, you know, Dr. Clarke mentioned, you know, many years ago, me and Dr. Clarke, I think she may have just graduated dental school, and I was in my senior year of dental school. And we heard about licensing and being able to make cannabis-based products. And,
right.
You know, I remember actually saying, wait a second, what? Cannabis is therapeutic? And going and down the rabbit hole on PubMed and some other places, like show me the real research, and then seeing, and not so much here at that time, but in other countries, like I think Israel had a really big cannabis research program in Australia, and just reading it and saying, wow, like this is amazing. This can help so much. And then seeing some of the things that we are dealing with in the dental side, saying, wow, this can be helpful in a dental space, but also it can be cause of some concern in a dental space. And so, you know, we went to University of Maryland in Baltimore, and quite a bit of our patient base consumes cannabis.
Right.
And I remember like changing my, what was it called? My, it's like a dissertation, my senior case presentation, changing it from implants to how do we help and treat people who consume cannabis. And so, you know, that's really what kind of birthed cannabis hygiene. And I actually got a standing ovation off of that. And I was scared to death.
Of course. Yeah. Well, especially in 2017. I mean, you know, I found CBD at the end of 2017, and it totally turned my life upside down. I mean, never in a million years would I have thought I'm going to stop being a stay-at-home mom after 17 years and go open a small business and then have a radio show. Like it, but it was too important to tell the people around me what I was learning and what I was seeing and what I was experiencing. And you're right. I mean, cannabis hygiene, you know, it makes total sense. I have helped people figure out how to use things like CBD oil and topicals and even a CBD toothpaste and mouthwash for dental issues like braces, like mouth sores, like, you know, any kind of abscess pain, things like that. But I've never thought about it from a preventative standpoint, or how that dry mouth and things like that, like you were just talking about, would affect your oral hygiene. Despite the fact that I know from experience personally what dry mouth can do to your teeth and your oral health. So I'm really excited to have met you guys And I'm really excited to have this conversation because no one is talking about this from your perspective. And I think that that's a shame.
Yes, it is. I think as providers, medical providers, we're often in a reactionary space. And when we have so many patients that are consuming, and when we see legalization, and then when we see the research coming out that both supports it from medicinal uses, but also shows that it can have some adverse effects, like with any therapeutic or medication, the medical professionals really kind of need to come to the table and say, okay, well, how do we kind of reduce the risk associated with some of these things? What can we do to do that instead of just ignoring that the issue does exist?
Right. And it goes so far beyond smoking too, because I personally do not choose to smoke it because I don't enjoy it. But I'm an edibles girl. But baby, when that gummy kicks in at night and my mouth is the Sahara Desert, never eat peanut butter from a teaspoon when you're in that position. We have to go to our first break, but when we come back, we're going to talk to these awesome ladies about cannabis oral hygiene. Stay with us.
Healthy Harvest CBD is the only licensed specialty retailer of hemp products in Mobile. If you suffer from pain, insomnia, anxiety, or inflammation, see Healthy Harvest CBD, featuring a great selection of THC, CBD, and CBG products, and taking the time to actually listen to what ailments you have in order to make a proper recommendation for your specific needs. Located off Government Boulevard near I-65, open daily 10 to 7. See Healthy Harvest CBD, where health grows.
My dad, he's a double amputee, and he's one of my favorite people in the world. To me, a hero is someone who fights for our country and freedom. My dad is a hero. Homes for Our Troops built this house, and it's basically made for him. My dad can get through the wide doorways. When he is making our lunch, he can reach anything we need. He'll help me build tiny projects. Life is good here. Without Homes for Our Troops, we'd be living in a home that didn't have all these features that helped him.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives.
If they get a new house like this one, it'll help them do normal life. My dad's not just a hero, he's my hero.
Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
Tom Claxton and Cal Walters, a couple of old Marines giving a little weekday R&R refuge to stimulate your senses.
People are aroused. I haven't seen people so aroused in a very, very long time.
The Scuttlebutt Network radio program, every Wednesday night from 8 till 9 p.m. on FM Talk 106.5. Your voice of the veterans for the veterans. Tune in, sound off, and sound off like you got a pair. Hoorah!
Welcome back to Sweet Home CannaBama. Now with all the information you want about CBD, here's your host, Jennifer Boozer.
Welcome back, everybody. Tonight we're talking with Dr. Kristen Millender and Dr. Dawn Clarke, both dentists from Maryland, and they are telling the world about cannabis oral hygiene. It's something that it never even occurred to me, even though I've seen cannabis based products for oral health. I've never thought about it from the perspective of what damage can be done by consuming. And, it's weird. And I'm sure you guys have come across this. It's weird with cannabis people because we're such fighters and we're so used to just duking it out with everybody we meet all the time because everyone's misinformed, uninformed, or completely trying to misinform the public. And so we're always having to justify ourselves. And I think when you start to mention there's nothing perfect. It is not a panacea. And there are certain things that come alongside the use of cannabis that aren't the greatest. To me, dry mouth is one of the worst things. I'm very educated and I know how to not overconsume and have a bad experience and desperately trying to teach other people how to do that. But, the dry mouth, man, it's something you really can't get away from. So let's start there. How big of a deal is dry mouth in your experience with your patients and people that you've talked to who consume?
Dr. Clarke, you want to take this and I'll jump in?
Sure. So when we talk about dry mouth or cotton mouth, the clinical term is xerostomia. So when we think about what's basically bathing our mouths and keeping our oral flora, that refers to basically all the bacteria and the environment inside our mouth, saliva is a really essential portion of that defense system for your body. Yeah. So, for example, when you're smoking, and even if you're consuming, like you said, an edible, when your mouth is dry, your salivary flow is severely decreased. Mm-hmm. So all throughout our body, we have all sorts of receptors, and there's a lot of receptors inside our mouths as well. Right. So when you consume cannabis, you're basically throwing that microenvironment off balance, and you're essentially stripping away your natural protection, such as saliva. So when you experience that dry mouth, you're basically losing that kind of buffer mechanism, right? That natural kind of cleansing system. When you're eating food, you kind of salivate. When you think about food, you start salivating, right? Because it's just a natural antimicrobial defense. Yeah. Now, on the downside as well, sometimes people get the munchies and they start reaching for more sugary things, sugary drinks, snacks, and that, sort of that nature. And all of those basically increase your risk of cavities or decay, as we call it. Right. And I'll say all that to say that when we throw off the balance, and part of the job of cannabis is actually to restore homeostasis. That's exactly what I was thinking. We're kind of, dealing with this fine line between how do we properly educate our patients about not only the benefits of cannabis, but also kind of what's in the back of your mind, those things that you're experiencing, but you may not necessarily have a solution or be thinking about, what's going on in my mouth when I consume this product. Right. And because in my experience, I want to drink. And like I said, don't make the mistake of putting something like peanut butter in your mouth when you have dry mouth, because it's like, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to breathe in a minute because I'm trying so hard to get this peanut butter down. It's a unique feeling, because you're right. I mean, even when your body is trying to make you throw up, you salivate, and I'm assuming that's so that everything comes on out, and kind of makes a way for that. And that doesn't, even account for enzymes and all the things that are breaking down your food. We are big fans of buccal absorption and sublingual absorption here, because it bypasses a lot of the liver pass and things like that in digestion. So, but yes, the biggest problem by the time I'm done chewing a gummy, I can already start to feel the effects of dry mouth. So, it's almost immediate onset, which is crazy. But, saliva is there for more than just moisture, like you said.
Yeah, definitely. Some things that we can offer some solutions for that, right? So a lot of times when we use them therapeutics, there are certain downsides, there's certain adverse effects. And sometimes in the medical world, they'll say, okay, well, this is the side effect for high blood pressure. This is a medication that helps with that. Right. So when it comes to the THC and the cannabis that's causing the dry mouth, there are products that are out there. They are limited, right? Which is why we see so much opportunity here. But there are lozenges, there are mouth rinses. We do recommend with the treatment plan, make sure you're using a dry mouth rinse. Right. Make sure you can chew. There's gum out there that'll help with dry mouth. And also as you masticate, you chew, you move your muscles, that also kind of stimulates secretions as well. Right. I think this would be a good time to kind of selflessly kind of plug in Ray.
Go ahead.
Yes, because we did. It's not enough. I was talking to you earlier, Jen, about this. It's not enough to say you need to quit smoking. Well,
because people aren't going to. You know,
exactly.
You don't even have to think about the people that are doing it. You know, and I hate the word recreational because I believe all cannabis use is medicinal. It's all medicinal. And so, but you would never talk me out of it because I don't want to go back on Oxycontin, you know, and I don't want to go back on. I was telling my husband, you know, I used to spend $600 a month on migraine medicine and I got 12 pills a month. And I did that for 20 years. And I ceased to have to do that anymore. And it's crazy to have to live like that. So in order to not go back to all that, you're not going to convince me to stop using it over a problem that seems like not that big a deal, even though we are learning it is a big deal.
Right. And how many other medications lift your joy? Like cannabis helps with just mood as well.
Right.
With all of the things that people are taking it for, other therapeutic effects. You know, it's a wonderful plant and very therapeutic. And so what we want to do is help make that consumption a little safer.
Absolutely.
Right? So how can, we want to make it a lot safer, but we can't claim to be able to do those things right now, right? But our goal is to create products that help minimize the adverse effects that, you know, that come with consuming cannabis. And I do want to make sure we don't just highlight the smoking piece.
Right.
A lot of people will use the gummies or tincture.
I'm a gummy tincture girl all the way. Give me a tincture twice a day and a gummy at night. Yes, ma'am. I am. I don't like inhaling it. It makes me cough. It's too fast for me. I know the selling point for inhalation is how fast it is. I do not enjoy that. You know, but like I said, you know, so many people don't know how to properly use edibles and even tinctures to their best ability. And so they prefer smoking because there's not a lot to it. But yeah, no, the cottonmouth is wild. Not with CBD oil so much, but definitely when it's a higher THC product, it is there. And, you know, you just kind of figure it out. But, you know, I told you guys when we spoke, you know, I had dry mouth consistently over the 10 years that I was on all that medication. And my teeth are actually all implants. I had to go and have all of my teeth redone. And most people that know me personally know that, and I don't care what anybody thinks about it. But I had to have an excruciating year worth of repeated procedures and titanium rods hammered into my face. And, you know, they broke my cheekbone and all kind of stuff over a year because the dry mouth from the medication I was taking for so long, just over time, my teeth just started to crumble. And I was not going to walk around like that, nor was I going to walk around without any, you know. So I went through this excruciating process. And it's funny because I was not even a year clean from the opiates and did all of that surgery and never took pain medicine. So most people don't believe me when I say that. I know I never took narcotic pain medicine, nothing. I just had to get over it, but it, you know, and it was good for me. Obviously they look nice to me. And they're functional. Thank you. But that was the consequence of something that I knew was an issue because it was uncomfortable, but I had no idea that it was fast tracking anything that was not good for my teeth or anything not good that was happening to my teeth. It just made it happen much faster and made them, you know, fall apart in my late 30s. So I think that we can't minimize how important this topic is because, like I said, none of us is going to tell you not to smoke. So let's find the solution to figure out how to keep people from losing their teeth or having oral health issues. And we're going to get into what more of those are by offering a solution. And again, it's a shame that no one's talking about this.
Yep. Can't wait to.
Yeah. Oh, well, let's talk a little bit about cavities and enamel protection. Dry mouth can become particularly important when combined with other behaviors that may accompany cannabis use, such as frequent snacking, like we talked about, getting the munchies, sugary or acidic foods and beverages. A lot of the edibles are sweetened with sugar. I know mine are. And then, you know, maybe you fall asleep before you brush your teeth. Things like that. Those are big deals too.
Yeah. Those are like behavioral things that we see associated with cannabis consumption. So, what we see in a dental office from someone who consumes cannabis is not solely related to the smoke trauma or just the xerostomia or the dry mouth, but also what comes with it. You hear about the munchies and those are usually sweeter foods.
I have to interrupt you real quick. We've got to go to a break. We're going to pick up right here after the break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
FM Talk 1065, the Gulf Coast Weather Authority, and Dr. Bill Williams.
The Gulf Coast can expect partly cloudy skies tonight. Low temperatures will be in the upper 70s at daybreak. For Tuesday, mostly sunny with a few afternoon showers and thunderstorms, highs in the upper 90s. And the outlook for Wednesday, mostly sunny with afternoon showers and thunderstorms and highs in the mid-90s. This is meteorologist Dr. Bill Williams for FM Talk 1065.
Hi, I'm Cherish Lombard, WKRG News 5. We now know the name of a man shot to death at a Mobile gas station last week. Early Friday morning, 48-year-old Reginald Whitehead was killed at the Circle K on Dauphin Street. Whitehead reportedly assaulted a security guard inside the convenience store. That guard, who police identify as 42-year-old William Weems, then allegedly shot Whitehead. Weems was originally charged with manslaughter. That charge was dropped, and the case is heading to a grand jury. A man is facing charges for another deadly shooting last week in West Mobile. 50-year-old John Myers is charged with murder and attempted murder. Investigators say Myers killed 57-year-old Robert Baer Thursday on Harding Boulevard near Avenue C. Another man has critical injuries. Police are still looking into what led up to the shooting. A man arrested after allegedly kidnapping and robbing another man. Mobile police say 33-year-old Ahmed Abdullah had a gun when he walked up to another man at Zippy Mart on 3 Notch Road just before 9 o'clock Saturday morning. Officers say Abdullah forced the man into his car, then took his wallet. Police found Abdullah on Theodore Dawes Road. Cherish Lombard, WKRG News 5.
Healthy Harvest CBD is the only licensed specialty retailer of hemp products in Mobile. If you suffer from pain, insomnia, anxiety, or inflammation, see Healthy Harvest CBD, featuring a great selection of THC, CBD, and CBG products, and taking the time to actually listen to what ailments you have in order to make a proper recommendation for your specific needs. Located off Government Boulevard near I-65, open daily 10 to 7. See Healthy Harvest CBD, where health grows.
If you're a sportsman and love the great outdoors, you know how important it is to utilize the tips and tricks that really good fishermen and hunters know. That's why sportsman and writer, editor, and photographer John Felsher is sharing his knowledge gathered from a lifetime of learning what works and what doesn't. Listen for the Outdoor Tips Daily on FM Talk 1065. You may become more successful fishing and hunting. Outdoor Tips with John Felsher on FM Talk 1065.
Welcome back to Sweet Home CannaBama. Now with all the information you want about CBD, here's your host, Jennifer Boozer.
Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to Sweet Home CannaBama Radio right here on FM Talk 1065 every Monday night at 7 o'clock. And we are live streaming via YouTube on all social media. We're talking with Dr. Kristen Millender and Dr. Dawn Clarke, who are dentists, tonight about cannabis oral hygiene. Just before the break, we were talking about the addition, besides the dry mouth, of snacking, sugar, and falling asleep without brushing. What should cannabis consumers add to their oral hygiene routine to help protect their teeth and enamel?
So one thing that I would suggest, a couple of things I would suggest. The first thing is you want to do something that's going to help remineralize your enamel. That can be through a toothpaste. There are fluoride-based toothpaste that can be used. Me and Dr. Clarke we lean on the holistic space in dentistry, so a lot of our patients don't like the idea of fluoride use.
Right.
Although the research does support it, they don't really, and we try to be understanding of that.
Right.
And so the next thing is something called hydroxyapatite, which is naturally occurring in our tooth structure already. There are more products that are coming out with that ingredient in them. So I would say, want to use something that's going to help toughen up your enamel, make it a little more resistant.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Clarke also mentioned the pH and how saliva is really important to maintain a balance
right
in the oral mouth and the oral cavity, So there are some really good oral probiotics out there.
Okay.
I would suggest using some of that to keep things balanced as far as your pH and the healthy bacteria in the mouth. And then there are things like the dry mouth rinses and gums and lozenges. After seeing patients who are struggling with dry mouth, not just because of cannabis consumption, it can be from chemoradiation, from cancer therapy and things of that nature. These products, they can be helpful, but they're not very impactful. And so that's why we decided to create a formulation that's our RA Elixir, or RAE Elixir, that does a couple of things. One, our goal is for it to coat the inside of the mouth. And this is definitely with smokers, people who smoke cannabis in mind. Cannabis burns at over 400 degrees, and that has a significant impact in the mouth. And so our idea, and this is our early idea, we have to test everything, is that lubricating the mouth and also stimulating our natural saliva glands when when having cannabis in the system can help protect the soft tissue from trauma, from smoke trauma and from dry mouth trauma.
Right.
So, and also the ingredients are mostly herbal ingredients. We're very careful when formulating this product. We wanted things that were safe, that were gentle in the mouth, because the mouth is a very precious place. And also something that moisturizes the mouth and keeps bad breath down too, because sometimes, whether it's smoking or whether you just edible and you eat a lot of different foods and the breath is a little something. Something that helps freshen the breath is really important. Our product is actually not a lozenge. It's not a mouth rinse. It's actually a spray.
Okay. Wow.
And and it's something that can be carried around.
Nice.
And so we're very excited to be launching it. We'll be launching it hopefully later in the year, towards the end of fall or the winter. Hey, baby, I'm on a call in a second. And it's inevitable.
Yes, it's okay.
And we'll be very happy to get that out and to help a lot of people.
Good. When you guys are ready to launch that, we definitely want to show that on the show. So let us know. Speaking of smoking, though, smoking introduces heat, combustion products, and irritants directly into the oral cavity. And for dentists, this raises concerns about the health of the gingiva and other oral tissues, particularly with frequent or long-term exposure. You know how a lot of smokers, they are dedicated, and it's all, and then it's like clockwork all the time, which is one of the reasons I don't prefer that method, because it is short-lived. So for harm reduction perspective, what should people who smoke cannabis understand about their gums and periodontal health?
Yeah, so I can chime in here. So when you think about smoking, as Dr. Millender mentioned, that cannabis heat from smoking, it can burn from anywhere to 100 to 400 degrees. So, you can get some protection if you're smoking, say, like with like a glass pipe. But if you get to like the end of a joint or a blunt, if you're mixing it with tobacco, that heat burns a lot hotter.
Yeah.
And basically, it's scalding the tissues, literally that constant soft tissue, that's your gums, the irritation.
Right.
Affects.
Yeah, some people even burn their lips a little bit.
Yeah, you can even see it. Some people's lips turn black. That's why I always ask. Well, I ask all of my patients, do you smoke? And I do find that when I've been to other dental offices and I look at their medical history intake form, it just says, do you smoke? But we have to, as professionals, kind of dig a little more deeper. Okay, well, what are you smoking?
Yeah, you can't assume it's cigarettes anymore.
Exactly. I do think, at least I have a lot of family members that consume tobacco. I've seen a decrease in kind of cigarette smokers, but there's an increase in cannabis smokers. And even with the youth, our younger generation, they're doing less drinking, but again, we're seeing a rise in cannabis smoking. So going back to kind of the gum health, so essentially that irritation can cause gum recession. So gum recession, basically when your gums are pulling away from the teeth, you see some people where they look like they have really long, elongated
their teeth are really,
Yeah, basically their roots are exposed. And that can be very sensitive for people. Put you at risk for other conditions like periodontal disease or gum disease. And it's basically, again, messing with that happy place of where your teeth want to be covered, they want to be protected, but when you're blowing smoke, all of the heat, it can cause irritation.
Yeah. What about after an oral health procedure, like your patient comes in, they're a cannabis smoker, frequent cannabis smoker, and they have to have a cavity filled, or they have to have a root canal, or some other type of surgical intervention, or something that's taxing on its own for the mouth, and the gums are, like any other body part, that part of the body is a little weaker while it's healing and needs ideal conditions. I mean, how much, you're not even supposed to inhale or drink from a straw most of the time after dental surgery. So what about people who continue to smoke while they are recovering from a dental procedure?
Well, I'm gonna actually back us up a little bit, Jen. Okay. Let's talk about before the procedure or during the procedure. So I remember my junior year in dental school, I had to pass, it was a deep cleaning practical for my perio course. Mm-hmm. And so I had a patient, he has a ton of tartar underneath his gums, and I'm trying to get them clean. And he was just like, this is painful. Basically, the anesthesia wasn't working for him. Mm-hmm. So I go to my instructor, I'm like, I can't get him numb. And she's like, well, you have to, or you're going to fail, blah, blah, blah. Right. I'm like, all right. So I go to him, I said, what did you have today? And he's like, I just smoked before I got here. So I said, okay. I was like, what did you smoke? And he said, I smoked cannabis. And I was like, okay. So I went to my instructor, and she's like, oh, yeah. So cannabis actually increases the metabolism of anesthesia in patients. So truly, if someone smokes before they come to the appointment, it may be very difficult to get them numb.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was, I'm happy I had that experience to understand.
Right.
That experience too.
Yeah. No, I've actually had an experience like that when I was having all this done. I went in, and one time, I don't know how many times he poked me with that needle in my gums, and it eventually got mostly numb, but not numb enough to do what we needed to do. And I had to go home and come back another day. And that was before I consumed cannabis. But I metabolize things different than a lot of people. I've woken up during surgery and things like that. It about takes a baseball bat upside the head to knock me out. But I get that, because I've had needle, and I'm like, yeah, I can still feel it. So I imagine that that's crazy, though, that a normal person, not like me, could have that effect if they use cannabis right before a procedure.
Yeah. And so now I tell my patients, hey, if you consume cannabis, make sure, just like if someone was coming and they take a blood thinner,
right? Or any kind of any kind of aspirin, ibuprofen, things that can thin the blood or cause excessive bleeding.
You want to limit during a procedure because you want things to be predictable. So
right.
It's just about understanding these things as providers, being able to coach our patients through it so they understand. We're educating them on the effect of that.
Yeah.
And then letting them make better choices for themselves going forward. But in the next place we really have this issue is when there's an extraction or tooth removal or some type of surgery.
Yeah.
Right? We need the blood to stay, to keep its clotting factor so you can heal well.
Well, and you need the saliva to be normal too, right?
That's right. Yeah.
You definitely don't want something like dry socket or a secondary infection to come into play, right? Or you burn the inside of your mouth. Every time I think about smoking, it makes the back of my throat want to clench up because and I don't know how people just, I'm used to it. I don't know how they do that. But I imagine after, again, having had all the things in the mouth done, I cannot imagine how frustrating that would be if they didn't know that they were their own problem. They were causing their own problem.
Yeah. And it's interesting though, because then on the flip side, cannabis as a whole has so many cannabinoids in it that's actually helpful for oral health. There's
right.
CBD, and I think even some studies on CBG that show that it can potentially be helpful in reducing bone breakdown. The studies in
yes,
now, right? But that's a pretty big advancement to understand.
It is. It is.
CBD also targets the very bacteria that cause or that live off of periodontal disease.
Yeah.
P. gingivalis. So that's excellent too. So, when we talk about balance, right? We are now in a society that likes to kind of pin THC against CBD, but they come together and all the other cannabinoids and terpenes. And, when we have an industry that sells just like really, really high, percentage THC,
right?
CBD is supposed to be protective.
100% agree. That is the biggest single mistake this industry has made, is focusing on one thing, given how many cannabinoids there are, plus all of the other components of the plant that are medicinal, such as terpenes, flavonoids, fatty acids, antioxidants, lipids, all the things, all
the things.
Well, because one of the best products I've ever tried for oral health was a CBD toothpaste and mouthwash.
Yeah.
I got the company sent me a sample of it, and it happened to be the same day my teenage daughter got her braces on. And I was like, oh, we're doing this. And, it's a miracle, because it works so fast. Those receptors inside the skin and the mucous membranes, it's incredible that it immediately starts to ease the pain. We got to take one more break, but we'll be right back. Stay with us.
Healthy Harvest CBD is the only licensed specialty retailer of hemp products in Mobile. If you suffer from pain, insomnia, anxiety, or inflammation, see Healthy Harvest CBD, featuring a great selection of THC, CBD, and CBG products, and taking the time to actually listen to what ailments you have in order to make a proper recommendation for your specific needs. Located off Government Boulevard near I-65, open daily 10 to 7. See Healthy Harvest CBD, where health grows.
Being blind doesn't always look how others may think. Stargardt disease was supposed to define me.
Retinitis pigmentosa aimed to overwhelm my family.
It tried to cut me down. A blinding eye disease attempted to force me away from doing what I was born to do.
But it cannot stop me. I have the tools.
I will keep moving forward.
Pushing past the limits of this disability.
I know where to find support and where I can be seen.
Loss of sight won't blind our vision. Innovative research, educational resources, supportive community. The Foundation Fighting Blindness is leading the charge in finding treatments and cures for blinding diseases. Learn more at fightingblindness.org. A public service message from the Foundation Fighting Blindness.
The UMS Wright Bulldogs have a new home. FM Talk 106.5. This Friday night, the Bulldogs take on the Patriots of Jackson Prep at Gooch Stadium. Pre-game with Kevin Rayleigh and Michael Knapp begins at 6:30. Listen live on FM Talk 106.5 or anywhere with the FM Talk 106.5 app. This Friday night, UMS Wright Bulldog football is on FM Talk 106.5. Welcome back to Sweet Home CannaBama. Now with all the information you want about CBD, here's your host, Jennifer Boozer.
Welcome back, everybody. Let's get right back into our topic. Doctors Kristen Millender and Dawn Clarke talking about cannabis oral hygiene. And so we just finished talking about, pre-procedure, things like that. And I want to talk a little bit about communicating with your dentist in a minute. But one thing, this is something I do, whether I have cannabis or not. But clenching and grinding in your sleep. Let's talk about that. Bruxism, I guess is what it's called. Clenching, stress, sleep quality, medication, substance abuse. All these things can overlap. And I don't know. I've ground my teeth since I was a kid. I wish I didn't, but I do. Sometimes I catch myself in the middle of the day when I'm stressed, grinding my teeth. So let's talk about that. Do you see grinding or clenching among cannabis consumers? And what should someone look for if it's not something they had before that?
You want to start us off that? Okay, yeah, I'll start us off. So, Dr. Millender and I were actually talking about this a little earlier, and we were saying how our patients that consume cannabis, we actually don't see as much clenching and grinding in those patients.
That
now,
makes sense.
Depending, again, what type of formulation of cannabis that you're consuming, if it's very high THC and you're very sensitive to THC,
right,
and that's causing a lot of anxieties,
right,
then that can lead to a lot of clenching, a lot of grinding. But we do see a lot more of our patients that suffer from other conditions such as sleep apnea that may even be undiagnosed.
Yeah.
Or they may have tooth alignment issues that are causing the joints of our jaws called our TMJ or our temporal mandibular joints to be offset. So we actually kind of see, for them, and again, this is anecdotal, but kind of the opposite kind of effect. How about you, Doc? What would you say?
I'm really sorry if my kids are loud in the back.
That's okay.
So I did look up the data on it, and I saw some statistics that said that clenching and grinding was found in, I guess people who consume cannabis were like, I don't know, some crazy significant times more likely to experience clenching and grinding. Like Doc said, I have never seen that.
Yeah.
However, I think that this is one of those things where it's like correlation doesn't mean causation.
There you go. I was going to say there's so many factors in that, the stress, internal stress, external stress, everything from money problems to health problems to kids to, all the things that make us stressed and clenched and, clamped down. For sure. So, but it makes sense that cannabis users aren't more susceptible, or you're not really seeing anything that matches that in and of itself, because cannabis is going to relax you if nothing else. Even if it doesn't impair you, it's still going to relax you. Back to what we were talking about earlier in the procedures and stuff. Would you encourage cannabis users to be open and honest with their dentist? Now, you're talking to, our radio audience is largely people in the Southeast who have limited access or new access to cannabis. And this is not something that most people around here feel comfortable bringing up to a medical professional, like they're going to get in trouble for it or something. But how important is it for people to communicate with their dentist or their doctor about this, and what do dentists need to know?
Yeah, so I would say I completely understand the hesitation, because you don't want to incriminate yourself,
right?
And medical records follow you.
Oh yes.
So I understand that. So I'm of the opinion that if you feel unsafe disclosing it, then, make that decision for yourself. But if you're going to get treatment done, it's really important that you give your provider the opportunity to make sure that treatment is done to the best of their ability.
Right.
And that we need to know if there's just like any other medication.
Right. If you're on an opiate and you're going in for surgery, you want your doctor to know that before they give you an IV full of it and you stop breathing. And that happens, because
and
people don't want to disclose their business.
Right. And then I would also say that it's important to have a medical provider that aligned with the way you want to go about your treatment, about your health, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to be with people who you think are going to judge you. You don't want to be treated by someone that you don't even feel comfortable being honest with them.
Right.
There are I don't know how many of these people are in Alabama. I can imagine that it's probably a little scarce, but I also challenge patients to challenge your medical providers. Show up with a good study in your hands and say, hey, I read this. I think this is helpful for me. I'm interested in looking into it. Are there any consequences or any guidance that you have to help me along with this journey? Because maybe I don't like the headache medication that I'm taking because of TMD and clenching.
Right.
Maybe cannabis can help reduce the muscle spasms.
Yes.
Help me feel better, and I can still operate right?
Yes, the first opiates I was given was by a dentist, an orthopedic, an oral surgeon, because I had a TMJ issue and had worn out the disc in my joint there, and I ground my teeth and started having migraines because of it at 15 years old. So I was in 10th grade, sitting in chemistry class on Lortabs and naproxen before it was over-the-counter Aleve, and a muscle relaxer at 15. And man, you don't want to do that. You don't want your kid. I don't want my kid to do that. So what would you tell, what do you want a patient to tell you? The type of product they're using or how frequently? I mean, what matters?
Yeah, so most of the time, again, establishing that trust is key, because we say one question leads to other questions. So I'm not necessarily expecting a patient to, and some do, they sit in the dental chair and it becomes the therapist chair.
Right.
But one of, I think, the responsibilities as dental professionals, medical professionals, is to do a little digging, understanding what type of product, how frequently the consumption is. Because some people, they may smoke here and there socially, but then there are some people that it takes just a little bit more to disclose their methods of consumption.
Yeah.
But again, for Dr. Millender and I, our title is Doctor of Dental Surgery. So before I do any type of, if I'm taking a tooth out, that is surgery. So I say, is there anything that I need to know about that you have not disclosed to me that's going to make this procedure more complicated? So I think just establishing that trust, and as medical professionals and dental professionals, any professional, we have to do a little bit more digging, because patients, again, they may not be as forthcoming, when they disclose something that has been stigmatized, for so long.
I think especially after this conversation, we would all like to see more dentists include this in their intake information, checking a box. Do you smoke? Well, what do you smoke? Because they want to know how many packs a day, because they assume it's cigarettes, but are also to educate themselves. I mean, you guys had to go out and find this information, right? It's not just in the dental school curriculum.
Yeah.
You've got to care enough to see this is,
again, what do you think
absolutely.
your patient base? How can you help them beyond the status quo?
Right.
You got to care about it.
All right, guys, we're almost out of time. I would like you to tell our audience where they can learn more about you, Dr. Millender, and Dr. Clarke, and Root Innovations, and your upcoming products.
Yes. So we are getting ready. We're preparing for launch mode. So there's still some things. We don't yet have an Instagram page and all that good stuff.
Okay.
But if you have any questions, you can email us. I'm going to spell it because it's long.
Okay.
It's info, INFO, at rooted, ROOTED, innovations, INNERVATIONS, at gmail.com. It's innovation as in the nerve innervates versus not innovation. So
right.
ER, not OR.
Right. Okay. Thank you both so much for being here with us tonight. This has been an eye-opening conversation. I hope we can do it again. And guys, join us next week when we do our summer series, How to Use It Safely, with Dr. Peter Grinspoon from Harvard and his book, Aging Well with Cannabis. God bless you all, and God bless American hemp and cannabis. Good night.
Before the brands, before the rush, before the money talk louder than trust, there was a plan, and there were people who listened, Before hashtags, before the flex, seeds passed hand in hand, not checks. Skunk in the soil, history alive, not a myth, not a trend, it survived. They didn't flip it, didn't erase, didn't put a barcode on its face. They asked one thing, where'd you come from? Let the roots answer, let the truth run. DNA don't lie, it remembers the past. Every grow room, echoing back. From Sam to the hills, from care to code. Preserved in the open, not locked in a vault. Let the plant speak, let the people be heard. Every root got got a story, every seed got a word. Let the plant speak. No rewrite, no spin. If you're part of the culture, then your voice belongs in. Let the plant speak. Let the people be heard. Every root got a story, every seed got a word. Let the plant speak. No rewrite, no spin. If you're part of the culture, then your voice belongs in. The humble grace didn't chase the crown. They slowed it down when the noise got loud. Ask the growers, ask the land. What does ethics really mean by hand? Not who owns it, but who protects. Who shows respect when the market shifts. Legacy ain't a logo or a name. It's how you carry the torch, how you tend the flame. When ethics missing, people fade. Culture dressed up for a trade. But when ethics present, roots run deep. Farmers protected, promises keep. Let the plant speak. Let the people be heard. Every grow, every trial, every quiet word. Let the plant speak. From the past to the now, we don't rush the answers, we listen how. Let the plant speak. Let the plant speak. If we don't define what matters today, someone else will write it their way. So pause for a second, scan the code, add your chapter to the road. This ain't about right or wrong, it's about where you stand, where you're from, what you learn, what you've seen, what this plan has really meant. Let the plan speak. Let the people be heard, every answer a root, every truth a sea song. Let the plan speak. This is how we protect, not by owning the story, but by showing respect. And let the plan speak. This is preservation, not promotion. This is listening, not rewriting. Be part of the record. HumboldtGrace.org